In the quiet forests of Mbale, Amina walked with a small basket in her hand, picking berries and herbs for her sick mother. Life in the village was simple and hard, but Amina had a kind heart and strong hands. As she walked deeper into the trees, she heard a soft sound, like a whisper or a moan. Her heart quickened. She followed the sound and found a man lying under the thick leaves. He was hurt, pale, and barely breathing. Without thinking twice, Amina dropped her basket and ran to him. Her hands trembled as she checked his pulse, touched his burning forehead, and saw he had a fever. With great effort, she dragged him to her small hut and began to care for him. She didn't know who he was. She only knew he needed help. Days passed. Amina gave the man soup, cleaned his wounds, and stayed up at night watching him. Finally, his eyes opened. He looked confused and weak. "What's your name?" Amina asked softly. He struggled to speak. "Kwame," he whispered. Kwame didn't remember much. He spoke like someone who had come from a very different world. Amina noticed the way he used words she didn't understand, and how his skin was soft like someone who had never worked in the fields. Still, she didn't ask questions. She was just happy he was alive. Kwame slowly got better. He helped Amina with little things, carrying water, cutting firewood, sitting with her mother. He never complained. He smiled more often now, especially when he was with Amina. But one evening, a group of strangers came to the village. They were dressed in fine clothes and drove shiny cars. One of them showed a photo of Kwame. Amina's heart sank. That night, Kwame admitted the truth. He was not just anyone, he was a billionaire from the city who had gone missing after a terrible accident. He had run away from everything, his money, his company, his pain. "But you saved me," he said. "Not just my body, but my heart." Kwame's family wanted him to return with them. They didn't like the village. They didn't like Amina. One of them, a woman named Zara, made it clear she had feelings for Kwame too. Amina felt small, unimportant. She didn't belong in Kwame's world of glass buildings and aeroplanes. But that night, Kwame walked with her by the river and said, "You feel like home to me." Still, Amina wondered, can love survive if we come from two different worlds? Kwame left with his family. He promised he would return, but Amina didn't believe him. Rich people always made promises they couldn't keep. In the city, Kwame had everything, money, power, and fame, but he missed the smell of the forest, the warmth of Amina's voice, and her gentle hands. He tried calling her, writing letters, sending gifts. But Amina didn't reply. She was afraid of being hurt, of being forgotten. One afternoon, while Amina was helping children at the village school, a car drove up. The whole village turned to look. Kwame stepped out, wearing a suit but holding a basket of forest berries, just like hers. "I came back," he said, "not because I had to, because I couldn't live without you." The village was shocked. Amina stood still, heart pounding. "Why me?" she asked. "Because you saw me when I was nothing and still cared," Kwame replied. Kwame asked Amina to come back with him to the city. He wanted to build a life with her, not just in love, but in work, in dreams. Amina was scared. Could she really live in his world? Would she lose herself? They spent a whole night walking in the forest. There, under the stars, Kwame knelt on one knee and held out a ring carved from wood. "I don't need a princess. I need you. Will you marry me?" Amina agreed. Slowly, she adjusted to the city. It was loud, fast, and confusing, but Kwame stood by her side always. She started a small health center for poor villagers who came to the city. Kwame supported her with money and love. Together, they worked to help others. People in the city began to admire her, not just as Kwame's wife, but as a kind, smart, brave woman. One day, bad news came. Someone in Kwame's company stole money and blamed him. At the same time, someone tried to ruin Amina's health center. They were tired, stressed, and angry. For the first time, they argued. Kwame felt like he had failed her. Amina felt like she didn't belong. For a few days, they didn't talk. But then, Kwame found her back in the forest, the same place they first met. He held her and said, No matter what happens, I choose you." They cried and forgave each other. Their love became even stronger. Months later, they got married in the village. Amina wore a dress made by local women. Kwame wore simple clothes to show respect. Everyone came, villagers, city people, even reporters. But for Amina and Kwame, the most important thing was this: their love had come from kindness, grown through struggle, and survived through truth. As they stood under the trees, hand in hand, they knew they were home together forever.